All right, that is it. I am done. Silver's down a few dollars. I'm selling it all. I'm sick and tired of it. Silver sucks. I'm tired of all these hype silver and channels out there talking up silver. I'm finished. You all lied, and you are salesmen, and I am finished. I'm done stacking. I'll explain what I mean by that in this video as we explore. Those are examples of some of the comments that I've been seeing with this latest downturn. In some ways, I'm a bit surprised, but in other ways, I shouldn't be surprised. But it is frustrating to see some of those comments. We're going to get into that in a moment. But the thing is you really can only benefit from silver if you hold on to it. These supposed silver stackers, well, and some of them have been saying they've been stacking silver for 18 years, but I highly doubt it because, they have seen a lot more than most of my viewers have seen. Most of my viewers have not been stacking that long, but are still holding on strong to silver. So they're panicking out there. And why is it? Well, because they're so easily swayed. And they're so easily swayed by a couple of dollars move through a couple of days here in the market. And they really are not paying attention to what's going on in the market and to also what some of these channels are saying. One guy has lumped me in with the silver hype channels, but this channel is anything but that. Most of you understand that. But nonetheless, there's some people who only selectively listen, take words out of context, don't do their own homework. Don't do their due diligence, which is something I constantly talk about on this channel. How you should not even take my word for it. You should look at the markets, look at what's going on, and come to your own conclusions. But one thing is for sure that I can stand on with 2 firm feet about what silver has done over the course of time, and that is preserve your wealth. But it takes time, and I've talked about that time and again. Now, you may be listening to this video, maybe have had those thoughts, but not articulated them in a comment or anything of that sort on the channel or on any other channel. But nonetheless, you may be very scared about what's going on with silver now because maybe you just started this year or late last year, and this is the first real big dip that you've seen. Well, this is something that I've talked about time and time again too. We should expect these dips. We should expect, in a sense, a correction. And one analyst puts it that silver's playing hard to get right now, and traders are watching every move like hawks. After a decent run higher, the precious metal just hit a speed bump that's got everyone asking the big question: is this just a healthy pullback or the start of something uglier? With geopolitical tensions still simmering and inflation concerns bouncing around, silver's next move could set the tone for precious metals across the board. And, they even think that silver's could fall back into the very low 30s, somewhere around $32 and $33. I don't think that's going to happen. But you know what? I've always been of the mindset that every time there's a dip, well, it's a good opportunity. Now, this channel is sponsored by a bullion dealer, Summit Metals. But they do not pay me just to tell you to buy from them because silver is going to go to $50 an ounce. Or they do not pay me for me to tell you that there's a dip in silver's price. You better buy now before it goes back up again. No, they want me to let you know that they are there for the next time you do buy, whenever it's right for you. There's been times where I've actually told people, hey, this is probably not a good time to buy. But whenever there's a dip, it usually is a good time to buy. Not always. Some of it depends upon your budget. Some of it depends on other factors as well. But nonetheless, this channel does not survive and does not thrive on whether or not you buy silver. It really doesn't. This channel survives and thrives because I am trying to be as realistic about silver as possible. And I don't need to oversell silver. In fact, I don't need to even sell silver or convince you of what it is. In fact, let me correct myself. This channel really doesn't thrive. It's a very slow growing channel. And part of that may be because I don't overhype silver. But silver is a beautiful metal. It sells itself for what it is. But the question remains is what's going to happen from here on out? Is it going to crash? What does a crash look like? Well, in my mind, anything below 10% move in one day would be considered a crash. We have seen silver move down 5% in one day. I've seen that happen on this channel. I wouldn't consider that a crash, but it's very close. It is about halfway there to a pretty big crash, maybe a quick little flash crash if it happens quickly and bounces back. But nonetheless, if we do see silver continue to fall and over 2%, and it keeps falling that every single day for the next week, that might be considered a crash to some extent. And I think that we're unlikely to see that. I think we're going to see a correction, and I think we're going to see the support show itself somewhere probably around $35, maybe $34 an ounce. I keep referring back to that video that I posted some time ago here now, maybe a month or so ago, about $34 silver, how important that is. We may be testing that soon. It is quite possible. And I think that's probably going to be right around the range of where the floor is going to be for silver. I could be wrong. It could fall below that. I think the next level is going to be $30 in my mind. As someone who's not a technical analyst, I'm just looking at these numbers psychologically, but I highly doubt we're going to see it fall below that. But you know what? Let's say it does. Let's say it falls below where I think it's going to fall. In the end, who cares? Unless you are literally at a point where you've got to sell it now for an emergency. And if you have to sell some of your stack because of an emergency, well, I think you've not planned well enough in order to preserve your stack from moves exactly like what we might be seeing through this summer. I don't know what's going to happen, but I still think we're going to see silver come out ahead by the end of the year. I'm sticking with my $41 prediction. But it's always good to have some of these on hand so that you don't have to liquidate this at the most inopportune time. Let me repeat that, folks. As much as we hate the dollar, and yes, it is money, that's a hard truth, that is a fact, it is indeed money. It's just unsound money, it's bad money because it's losing value, but it is a store of value that we have faith in, or else we wouldn't have them, we wouldn't hold them. And that's really the bottom line. And yes, even when we put them in a money market, whatever account, we're earning an interest rate that is far below the rate of inflation for most of us, or a CD or something like that. But we still have them. We still may even save these. Why? Because we need that buffer. This acts as a buffer so that we don't have to sell this when there's a downturn in the market. And let's say it falls another $5, $6 an ounce. Well, it's still silver. It's still the same ounces that you've always had. Nothing has changed for silver. And just as I said, when the price spiked up to almost $40 an ounce, we were literally 30 cents away from $40 an ounce. And around that time, you may remember me saying that there's more to silver than just the price. And that is something I've been very consistent upon. We measure our wealth in ounces, not necessarily dollars. We measure our dollars in dollars, and we hold on to these so that we can have that buffer zone. We can be fiscally responsible with our dollars so that we don't have to liquidate these at the most inopportune time. And I encourage all stackers out there, no matter how bullish you are on them, no matter what kind of diamond hand you have, to have a vehicle of savings outside of silver. Silver is the ultimate last resort. It is the ultimate insurance policy. But in order for it to really work for you, you must dollar cost average in your acquisition. And most of you who've been stacking for more than 2 years and practice just straight up dollar cost averaging, well, this dip means nothing to you because you're still really ahead. Think about this for a moment, folks. I'm just thinking on averages here. I believe we probably, since the beginning of this year, silver is up about 35%, maybe 36, somewhere in that zone. Somebody can probably do the math and figure it out. I've not done it, but it's somewhere in that range. Folks, that's much higher than the rate of inflation. Since the beginning of the year, it's done great. So for those of you who are discouraged and maybe not expressed as such in the comment section, I want to encourage you to hold on. You know, this is just a dip in the market. It happens. and in some ways it may even be healthy. And so keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on the prize, and the prize is having wealth outside of the system. It's about an insurance policy. It's not about profiting. It's not about making money, which, by the way, since the beginning of the year, silver has been one of the best investments out there if you measure in that realm, in that way. But a couple of dollars a pullback is a big deal. Obviously, we're seeing a downturn in the markets, but if you're a stacker, it's not a big deal. It really is not. And if you've been stacking for 15 or 18 years, as one person put it, who is unsubscribed from the channel and left because he thinks I'm part of the hype crowd, you haven't been doing it right. If you've lost money and you say it's not kept up with inflation, you have not been stacking right. And I've done a video about that too. There's a wrong way to stack and a right way to stack. And I've discussed those ad nauseum on this channel. But more than likely, I'm going to have to keep reminding folks and do more videos teaching people about silver. And I have a playlist for those of you who are brand new to stacking or have been stacking for a year or less called Silver Basics. I hope you will check out the playlist there. It goes through all the basics on silver stacking and what it's about. But if you have been stacking a while and you've got your diamond hinge and you're holding on through this time, good for you. Do not be swayed by what the market does. Do not panic. And even if silver were to crash, I don't care if it goes down to $20 an ounce tomorrow. It doesn't faze me in one bit. Not in one bit. Because we know there's something big that happened, and especially if you believe that there's some price suppression going on with some of the big bullion banks, which may be capitalizing on some of this. You know, they're very much empowered, many people feel. But also, never underestimate the power of the natural market. And that natural market is swayed by mostly emotion, psychology. Drives the markets. In fact, if you want to get into trading in general and market dynamics, you ought to just take a class on psychology, honestly. That should be required for those who want to getting a degree in finance and in the markets, in my view. But nonetheless, one thing is for sure, something that has survived and stood the test of time, it's silver. It's not going anywhere. All the silver that you see here is the same silver it was when it was almost $50 an ounce. Some of it, when I bought even before that, even before it was $50 an ounce. Some of it went through that market high, and some of it much later. And so there's a lot of different types of silver, and there's a lot of different price points of which it can be purchased. And so when you think about all of that and the market and what it's been through, the silver does not change. So I hope you found some encouragement in this. Just hold on. Hang in there. It's really not that big of a deal, what we're seeing now. And even if by the time you see this, we see silver fall again, 3-4% again, we got to roll with it. We got to roll with the punches. It's a volatile metal. It's we understand that it moves as a commodity just as much, if not more so, than as a monetary metal. That's par for the course. But we've had a good year. We've been spoiled by a bull run for silver. We've been spoiled by the silver rally, and people have just piled on with all this bullish sentiment. And yes, there has been some in the community who have, in a sense, overhyped it. And I myself have been caught up on that a little bit, but I like to check myself if I can. But my predictions, my year-end predictions since 2020 have been overly bullish, which is why I've been wrong. But I'd like to keep in a realm of reality or something that is feasible to happen or could happen. And so we'll see. But if you are a true silver stacker, and that means this shouldn't bother you. If this does bother you, stick around on this channel. I want to try to encourage you as much as possible. And so I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Let's be real about silver, and realism means that we roll with the punches. So I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.